Good afternoon all. Today we will see different data types in Java language. So let's start. Yes, screen is visible to everyone. Okay. So this is your syllabus. Screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So most of the operators are same, data types also same, but we will explore more what are the different data types in the Java. Okay, as per your curriculum. So first, I have opened JCreator, which is the ID for creating our programs. So choose file, new, then Java classes. We have choose empty Java class or empty or just Java class. Okay, you have to choose any one. Then okay, so choose Java class and click on the next button. Give the name, for example, data types 1. This is the name of the program. Then save the program on desktop. In that Java program, choose the folder and click on the OK. Then click on the finish. Okay, great. So this is our template is already created. Data type 1.java. This is the source code file name. Then class is always public. Okay, so data type 1 is the name of the class which is having access specifier public. This is data type 1, that is the constructor of that class data type 1. Great. Next, before explaining the different data types, we will first grasp the concepts of data type in Java. So data types in Java. So basically in Java, data types are divided into two types. First is the primitive data types and second one is the non-primitive data types. Great. So primitive data types and non-primitive data types. These are the basic two types of data types. Primitive data types is also called as built-in data types. Okay. And non-primitive data types are also called as derived data types in Java. Great. So again, primitive data types are again divided into two types. First is the numeric data type. Second one is the numeric data types, and we will call it as a non-numeric. Okay, so non-numeric data types. Great. So primitive data types we have divided into two types: numeric data types and non-numeric data types. So which are the numeric data types? Yes, we are familiar with that. There are basically two numeric data types, that is integer type, and second one is called as the floating point type. So integer type and floating point type. So these are the two data types in the Java. So numeric data types are divided into integer type and second one is the floating point type. Okay, so just Roman I, that is integer type, and this is float type. So numeric data types are divided into two: integer type and floating point type. Great. So integer type. So integer type data types are, we know integer. So we will there are number of data types which are integer, that is short, int. Okay, so we will see one by one. Then floating point. So floating point are to float, and second one is the double. So these are the floating point data types. Okay, there is a decimal point exist in that. Then there is a numerical, non-numeric data types. So non-numeric data types are, so first, which we have very familiar, that is character data type, and second one is called as Boolean. Okay, so Boolean is the data type in Java. Also in C and C++, there is a Boolean data type, but in C language, in plain C language, there is no Boolean data type. We have treat 0 as a false and non-zero value is treated as a true. But in Java, there is a Boolean. Boolean, that means having two values, true, okay, or false. So this is Java, true or false. We will see the programs based on the Boolean values also. So character. In Java, Unicode system is there, universally accepted code, which is not the ASCII. ASCII code system is applicable for the C and C++ languages. Okay, American Standard Code, American Standard Code for Information Interchange, and which is applicable for C and C++ language. Great. But in Java, here Unicode system, and that Unicode system, that is uni means universally accepted code system. So universal code, these are almost all languages characters are available in that Unicode character set. Okay, so almost 65,000, I think 350 or 35. Okay, so that much character set is exist in the Unicode system in Java. So these much character set is available. But in C and C++, we know how many characters are available. 256 characters are there. Okay, only 250 characters are there in ASCII. Guys, ASCII is a subset of Unicode system in Java. So ASCII characters are also there in Unicode system, as well as other languages such as Devanagari, then Germany, then your Chinese, Japanese, all languages character sets are supported here in Unicode system. That's why in C++ language, only 1 byte is reserved. Only 1 byte is reserved for character data type. So character data type, how many bytes are reserved? Only 1 byte is reserved. But in Unicode system in Java, 2 bytes are reserved. 2 bytes are reserved while storing only single character. Okay, so in Java, 2 bytes are reserved for the single character. But in C++ language, okay, their code system is ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Okay, that is the long form of that. But now in Java, we will support all the characters. In ASCII, only US characters are there, but in Unicode system, almost all characters from the all developed countries we have taken in the Unicode system as a character set. So almost of 65,535, that much characters are available in the Unicode character system, while ASCII character system supports only 256 characters, which is US English. And guys, one more thing, that ASCII is the subset of the Unicode system. That means Unicode is a superset of the ASCII character set. Great. Any doubts till this? Yes. Any doubts? Okay. So let's move to the next point. So next type of data types, we will see program on all the data types. Okay, so non-primitive data types or the derived data types. Derived means inherited from the previously created data type or previously built-in data type. We have derived it. So in that, first data type is array. Okay. So array is a non-primitive data type. Then class. Class is also a non-primitive or derived data type. Third one is called as interface. So interface is the new keyword. We will see what is meant by interface in Java. So arrays, we know array, one-dimensional array, two-dimensional or multi-dimensional arrays. So array is also a derived data type or non-primitive data type in Java. Class and interfaces are the non-primitive data types. Okay, because which are inherited from the previously created or depends on the primitive data types, inherited from the primitive data types. Okay, great. So give the comment for that. Yes. Till this. So this is a comment line. That means that is not executable lines. So this is all about data types in Java. Now let's check what are the different points which is exist in the other languages, and that is C and C++ mainly, and then Java. Compare it. Okay, so integer type in Java, integer data type is divided into 4 different integer types, that is byte, then second one is the short, then third one is the integer, and last one is the long. Okay, so based on how many bytes are reserved for that particular data type, we have divided our integral data types into 4 different data types. First is the 1 byte or byte, which reserves 1 byte, okay, which requires only 1 byte data. Then short requires 2 bytes. Int data type requires 4 bytes, and long data type requires 8 bytes. Okay, to understand. So depending on how many bytes are reserved for different data types, integral data types, these integer data types are divided into byte, short, int, and long. As per the user's requirement, how much value we want to store in that particular data type, we want to choose the type of integer data type. For example, we have required to store only 100 values, that is from 1 to 100, then 1 byte data type is sufficient. Okay, because guys, we know each and every data type in any language having range. Okay, so range means which value from minus to plus we have to store into that particular variable of particular type, that is byte. So what is the range of byte? If it store 1 byte means 8 bits. Okay, so always we have to in Java, what is the characteristics of the integer type? That is, like in C, C++, the data types are signed and unsigned. Signed and unsigned and signed data types. Okay. But signed, unsigned data types are there in C, C++. We know that these are also called as modifiers. Okay, these are the modifiers of data type. They modifies the data type. So signed means we have to store minus and plus values into that particular data type. Unsigned means we have only stored positive values in that particular data type. But in Java, guys, note that in Java does not supports unsigned and signed modifiers. Instead of that, every data type, integral data type, always stores both signed values, both signed values means positive and negative. Okay, so both values, there is no modifier exist in Java, that is unsigned or signed. Okay, because short, byte, int and long, these data types stored both positive as well as negative value, means by default all these integral data types are signed one, means it's stored minus and plus. So just think on that. So what is the range? So it is a minus, means last bit. Okay, 1 byte means how many bits? 8 bits. Great. So 8 bits, which last bit? Okay, last bit is reserved for sign. So remaining bits are 7 bits. 7 bits for data bits. This is all called as data bits. So what is the range? How many value we want to store in that? 128 to 2 minus 128 2 plus 127. Guys, we will demonstrate it. And so main point that in Java, in data types, that is numeric data types, in that integral type, signed unsigned data type modifiers are not exist. Okay, so let's take one program on that. This is the constructor. Okay, every class in Java contains default constructor or zero argument constructor. Okay, so next, main method. So what is the access specifier? Public static void main, then pass string array string args. Okay, then write curly brackets. Great. So guys, tell me, if I'm choosing byte, yes, b is equal to 200. Okay, first simple one, 12. Okay, and dot out dot println. Yes, in println we have to write b is equal to plus b. Yeah. Now tell me, what is the output of this program? Okay, let's comment in your chat window. So what is the output of this program? Yes, b, value of b is equal to what? B is equal to, yes, tell me fast. Okay, 12. Yes. So let's check 12 is correct or not. So first compile the file. Okay, process completed, means it's class file is created, data type 1 dot class file is created, which is in the which language? Bytecode format. So let's run or execute the file. Okay. So after execution, what is the output? B is equal to 12. Great. Guys, tell me, if I want to exceed the range 128, we know the range. What is the range for 1 byte? That is minus 28 to 127 positive. Suppose I am assigning the value to the B variable as a 128 and then print it. So what is the output of this program? Yes. Comment the answer in the chat window. Okay, garbage. Second, yes, Shubham, it is garbage. Okay. Error, yes. Okay. So let's check what happens. It gives the garbage value or something else. Okay, but for C and C++, if we write the code like this, suppose here integer data type, then what happens if the range exceeds, then as per the 2's complement logic or the loop back addressing, it gives the answer minus 28. But in Java, let's check what happens. So compile the code. Oh no, it gives the compilation error because we assign the value which is exceed the range, and if the range is exceed, then it is the error in Java. Okay, same thing is applicable for index or size of the array, 1 dimension, 2 dimension. If size exceeds, okay, then it gives you error in Java, but in C, C++ it is not error. Okay, so here if range exceeds in C, what is the output? If C language is there, so what is the output? Minus 128 in C or C++. Just go and check it. It gives the minus 28 as an output, not a garbage value. Next, in Java, if your range of that particular data type exceeds, then it is treated as a what? Syntax error. Okay, in Java, it is treated as a syntactical error. Yes, guys, hope you understand. Okay, so any doubts till this? Okay. Also, in Java, we will represent the values in different formats because, okay, this is in which format? 128, which is in the decimal format. Here, if you write 121, great. So what happens if you compile? There is no error because the value is within the range. When you execute, it gives you B is equal to 121. Great. Now, this is in the which format? Value is in which format? Decimal format. Guys, if you write 0 before that, understood? Before value, okay, we write 0 first and compile. Okay, there is no compilation error. And if we run the code, what happens? Any guess? Any guesses? What is the output?
Hexadecimal.
What is the value? B is
In
equal
hexadecimal.
to hexadecimal. No. Is it hexadecimal 81?
4.
Octal. It gives the value in the format of octal. If you write 0 before your decimal value, okay, it is treated as octal value. Understood? Yes. Yes or no? And if you write 0b, before your decimal value, then that value becomes binary, but it there, let's check. I will show you. Error, because 0b, consider that this value is what? In the which format? Binary format, and there is no 2. Instead of that, you have to write like this. Okay, 1010. Yes. And if you compile, then there is no error because this value is in the format of binary. Yes. So 0b indicates it is a binary value. And when you execute that, then here what happens? 1010 is then displayed or something else, or its decimal value get displayed here. Let's check. Great. So it gives you what? B is equal to 10. Yes. B is equal to 10. Yes. Increase 10 again and check it. Compile and execute the file. So what is the output? Expected output B is equal to 20. Yes. So 10100 means 20 decimal value. So we have to display. Guys, hope you understand. So in integer values, these are also 4 different types. One is the decimal, hexadecimal, octal, and binary. So now it's time for how to write hexadecimal value. So O, okay, X, and you have to write any hexadecimal value, suppose FF. Okay, now print it. Great. So compile the file. Yes, there is one data type, incompatible type. Okay, let's check it. FF, just FF. Then what happens? Compile the file. It gives you variable X. Data type cannot find the symbol. Okay, so we required here hexadecimal symbol, that is 0x. Yes. Okay, then compile it. Okay, so incompatible type, some possible lossy conversion, so it must not convert. Okay. Because the value is exceed. Okay, so just write F and compile. Guys, understood why it is not taken FF? Because the range is exceeds, and if range is exceed, then it gives you compiler error. So 0x and F. Now X means what? What is the output? B is equal to 15 because hexadecimal value starts from 0 to 15. So it gives you B. What is the value? B is equal to 15. Guys, understood? When I write FF, what it gives you? It gives you error. If I'm compiling, it gives you compile time error here because range is exceeds. Okay, that's why it is a incompatible type and possible lossy conversion. Okay, so if that type of error, so remove it. How? Or there is one type, what? We have to write data type here int. If you write data type int and then compile, let's check. There is no range exceeds, so it does not give any compilation error. And then execute the file. So what is FF? FF means 255. FF means 255, and when we choose byte as a data type, then range exceeds because range is only -28 to 127. Great. Guys, hope you understand. Yes, hope you understand. I will show one more thing, that is 0 means an octal, and if I write 167 or 168, octals means 0 to 7. Okay, so what happens, guys? Any guesses? Yes, it gives the syntactical error. Integer number too large. Integer number too large, because actually we cannot write 8 in octal number. Okay, 0 to 7. Suppose 4. Yes, it works. And if you compile, okay, then there is no error. So this is a octal number because it starts with 0, and when we execute it, okay, so what is its decimal value? 116 is the decimal value. You can convert the number octal number, this octal number, into decimal, so it gives you 116, because octal number is value is greater, and always decimal, that is at base 10, this value is less. Yes, it's work. Yes, any doubts till this? Yes, any doubts? So in Java, there are 3 different types of integer, then 4: decimal, hexadecimal, octal, or binary format. We have represent our integer value in these different formats, either decimal, hexadecimal, octal, and binary. Always remember. Okay. Yes, there must be error if the range is exceeds in Java. Not the 2's complement logic or loopback addressing is work here in Java. In C and C++ language, it works. But here in Java, it is treated as a error if your range is exceeds. Then signed and unsigned modifier, that is signed modifier and unsigned modifier. Just compile the file. It gives you error. Signed and unsigned modifiers are not there in the Java language. Okay, great. Guys, hope you understand. Yes. Okay, next thing, how we can print hexadecimal value in the form of hexadecimal itself. Okay, if this is an octal value, we want to print it into the octal itself. So is there any? Yes, there are number of different ways. Okay, so first way to display it, suppose x, yes, and suppose ff, this is the hexadecimal value. We want to print hexadecimal format, that is b, value of b in hexadecimal format. Okay, so is equal to, so there are different ways. So first way is to call the method, that is string, that is the name of the class, string dot format. So format is one method in the string class. So first argument there is a format specifier, that is hexadecimal %x, comma, which value we want to display in the hexadecimal format, b. So choose b, okay, and gives the parenthesis, that is the completion of the println method. Great, let's check whether it works or not. What is the meaning of that? The value of the b is displayed in the hexadecimal format itself. Okay, so just compile it and execute the file. Great. So value of b in hexadecimal format is ff. Great. ff is the hexadecimal value. Guys, this 0 and x is for your format. Which format the value is? In the hexadecimal. For that, in Java, compiler knows that this value is in the hexadecimal format. That format 0x is represented, that it is in the hexadecimal format. Guys, hope you understand. Yes. Yes, any doubts?
No, sir. Can you repeat once more?
Okay, repeat. Okay, so if you want, this is assign the value to the variable b in the hexadecimal format. Okay, so this value assigned to the b as integer is in the which format? Hexadecimal format. Great. So I want to display that hexadecimal value only, that is ff. Only I want to display ff. So what are the different ways to display that value? So first way is to call format method of the string class, and format method is a static method, that's why it is called by its class name, string dot format. Okay, static methods are called as also class methods, which is common to whole class and called by its class name. So string dot format, and pass the arguments. So two arguments we have to pass. In which format? Percentage x, that is hexadecimal, comma b, that is which value we want to display in the hexadecimal format, that is the b value. Okay, and when we execute it, it gives the output as a value of b in hexadecimal format is equal to ff. Now what are the other way? So yes, there is another way. So system dot out dot println, great, then write the same message, value of the b in hexadecimal format, but we have to display it in the another form. Okay, so what is that form? So form is integer, so called integer class. In Java, each and every data type is in the form of classes. For int, okay, so this is the int, that int is in the form of the integer class. Okay, we will see that also later on. So what is the method? Int dot toString. So the method of the integer class, that is a toString. So convert your variable value, that is b, into hexadecimal. So hexa means 16, so write 16 as a second argument. Okay, and let's check whether it works or not. So first compile it, because we have to make changes in our source code file. Then execute the file, and when you execute it, it gives the yes, same output. So these are the two different ways by using that we have to display the different formats value, whether it is octal, hexadecimal, decimal, or binary. Yes, guys, hope you understand. So there is one method is there, string system dot out dot printf. Similarly, printf in your C language, printf method is also there. So just hexa value of b is equal to, then write percentage x for hexadecimal, then if double new line, write /n at the end, and comma, write which value b. Okay, so this printf method is also exist from I think 1.8 JDK version. So this method is also available. You can compile the file. Yes, there is no error. Then execute the file and check whether it works properly or not. Yes, hexa value of b is equal to ff. Guys, these are three different ways. Using that, we have to display the hexadecimal values. And if you write just like this, system dot out dot println, okay, it, so like this, b is equal to plus b, then what happens, guys? This value of b, which is in the hexadecimal format, is displayed in the decimal one, just compile. Then its class file is created, then execute and check it whether it works. Yes, its decimal value, that is 255, is displayed. And if you want to display in the same hexadecimal format, so there are the three different ways. One way is call format method of the string class, or call toString method of the integer class. Okay, or you have to call printf method and use format specifier as a %x. If it is octal number, then use %o. If it is binary, %b. Just go and check whether it works or not. Okay, and if it is, suppose here b number and we want to convert it into octal, then what we have to do? Here b16, instead of that you have to write 8. For example, I will show you. Just integer c as the name of the variable. Octal means first write 0. Suppose 5, that is 55. Now we want to print 55. If you write just c is equal to plus c, then it gives you its decimal value. And if you want to print it in the octal itself, so guys, which is the value, how we can write it? Okay, there are different ways using toString method. Okay, suppose this is a toString method. Use that toString method, system.out.println value of c in octal format. It is equal to integer.toString, then first name of the variable. What is the name of the variable? C is the name of the variable. And which format we want to display? Octal, so use 8. Okay, then save it and again compile the whole program and execute the file. So let's check whether it gives you correct output or not. So let's check last value of c in the octal format is 55. Great. So it works. If you want to print it in the binary format, then yes, it is possible. Suppose same value. First we will create its binary value. So how we can create the binary value? Just b. Okay, and then write 1010. Okay, so this value, binary value, we want to print. So value of c in the binary format is equal to integer.toString c, comma, binary means 2 base. So write 2 as a second argument of the toString. Then compile the file and execute the file and check whether it works or not. Great. So last line, value of c in binary format is equal to 1010. Guys, understood? And if you remove this and just write c, then it gives you its decimal value. 1010 means what? What is the decimal value? 10. Let's check whether it works or not. Guys, it works. 10. Yes. Any doubts till this? If you have any doubts, please ask. Yes. Anyone? In Java, there are lots of concepts. Okay, I will take as much as possible in the depth manner. Yes, Manish. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's move to the next point. So this is all about integer data type, which is of numeric type and primitive one. Okay, so for the floating point, yes, for the floating point, float points are, there are two types of data type. One is a float and second one is the double. So for the float, how many bytes are required? For the float data type in Java, 4 bytes are reserved. And for the double, how many bytes are reserved? 8 bytes are reserved. And by default, if it is a floating or floating point value, it is considered as a double. And if you want to make it as a float value, what is the, you have to write f small or capital at the end of the number as a suffix. Okay. Okay. So this is all about floating point number. Then non-numeric data type, that is character. So how many bytes are reserved? 2 bytes are reserved for the character. We'll know that only 2 values. Okay, character data type. Okay, 2 bytes are reserved for the Boolean data type, that is true or false. These are the values. Okay, I will show you. Okay, first I will remove all these things. So tell me one by one what happens if I, in the similar manner, while loop, while, then condition, then curly brackets. Inside the curly bracket, we have to write the body of while. Body of while loop. Okay, and here we have to write condition. So this is the syntax for C language, C++, as well as in the Java language also. So instead of the condition, guys, I will write 1, and in the body I have write system dot out dot println and hello. Okay, great. Tell me what is the output of this program? Yes, what is the output of this program? What do you think? Yes, write your answer in chat window fast. Just guess what is the output? Infinite time hello, infinite time hello. Yes. Okay. Infinite time hello. Okay, that is the main crux, guys. No infinite time, just compile it first. Oh no, it gives you syntactical error. So what is the syntactical error? Incompatible types. Int cannot be converted to the Boolean. Because guys, here in the Java, value of the condition is calculated as either true, 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 as a Boolean value, or false, 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 as a Boolean value in small letter. Okay, as a 1, it is considered as a numeric 1, integer value. Okay, not a Boolean true or false, because condition returns either true or false. In C, C++, it returns 0, that means false. Okay, and in non-zero value, any non-zero value is treated as a true in C, C++, but Java, it is considered as a error, syntactical error, because what is required? True. Okay, as a Boolean value. Okay, so if you write like this and then compile it, there is no syntactical error, and when you execute it, okay, so continuously it gives you hello, hello, hello. Okay, so guys, hope you understand this. Yes. Okay, so just I will close it because infinite time sometimes it gives you problems. So again I open JCreator. Yes, hope you understand. So guys, hope you understand. True, it requires true. Similarly for do while, But guys, I have another question. What happens if for loop is there? What is the for loop? For, what is the syntax? Initialization, semicolon, condition, semicolon, and then reinitialization. Okay. So this is the syntax: for loop, for keyword, parenthesis, initialization, then condition, then reinitialization, separated by semicolon, and then write the body of for loop. Yes, body of for loop, guys. Now tell me, if I have removed this, there is no initialization, there is no condition, there is no reinitialization. Okay. So guys, what is the output of this program in Java? What do you think? What do you think? What is the output? Yes. Any compile time error? Let's check whether it gives compile time error. No, there is no syntactical error. There is no syntactical error. Okay, and just execute the file. If you compile and then execute it, it gives you hello, 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 infinite time. Okay. So it gives the infinitely this program get executed. I hope you understand till this. Yes. Okay. So let's, for loop, there is no need to write condition. Okay. Let's open it again. Okay, this is the drawback of this jCreator. It's loading is there, and that's hang the ID. That's why. Okay. Then again, one question is there. If I have write while loop and don't write any condition here, then what is the output? What is the output of this program? Guys, if while loop, do while loop, there is no condition, then it is treated as a compile time error in C language. That is illegal start of the expression. We must write condition for the while and do while. Okay. But for the for loop, we no need to write the condition. It's acceptable. Understood? Yes. Yes or not? Great. So that's all about the data type. Some part is remaining. We will see that part on the later session. If you have any doubts, please ask.